So it's in between, and Sean's looking up directors of Doctor Strange because I've never seen.
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh no, he directed that movie.
Yes.
Ooh,
But
that's
so
a movie
what
that I'm sorry, someone should have said no.
What he
Don't
did
make that.
since then was the Black Phone, that new.
Oh, he's the director of
He
that.
directed
Man,
that,
the
yeah.
reviews of that are super strong.
So there you go.
Yeah, he was asking about Doctor Strange. I've never seen the films. I don't know.
So I have a question. You have a friend in town that's not staying with you, that's here for work.
Yep.
And you went to dinner with him on Friday night.
Yeah.
And you went to dinner with him on Saturday night. Or is your duty to take him to dinner on Sunday night too?
Is it your duty? No. Is it polite for you to ask and not force? So if they say no, you say, "Hey, would you like to do dinner? No obligation."
I'm kind of tired. That's why. That's why I'm talking.
Or
I kinda
simply
just
a
wanna
text
stay
that just
home.
say, "Hey, I'm checking to see if you have plans for tonight. You know, didn't want you."
to feel like you have to spend the whole weekend with us.
And I also don't want you sitting alone as well. Something like that, I think, probably is encompassing and kind enough.
All right, I'll think about the wording, but yeah.
Or you could just text us, say,
No.
I'm super tired, feel like shit, go out on your own tonight. That could
No. I
Get wrecked,
actually,
son.
if he wants to have dinner again because he's here by himself for the show, I totally told him to go to dinner again. But I'm also very tired and wouldn't mind not doing anything.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So it's like
I
a
get
weird,
that.
like a.
Well, I was up against that today being Father's Day, and I know Abby, I get it. She's in town for only 8 weeks, so she
If
wants
she
to
was
hit
conscious,
everywhere of her favorite places. She wanted to go to Angry Dog, which is a wonderful restaurant, bar in Deep Ellum that I've taken her to since she was a kid. I don't really know that I want a burger, and so it's like, how do you say to your kid, yeah, thanks for that, you want to give me that for Father's Day? I don't want to go.
Can we save that for later?
I don't think I can take a burger today. I just don't want to do it.
Need some pizza? What?
Man, we tried to.
Some
So we
za?
were already down in Dallas yesterday, going to see Jurassic Park at North Park. That's
was
Abby. That's Abby's favorite theater is North Park. She loves that theater, which
If
AMC
she had
had.
only known about the true North Park Theater.
Oh, I tell her all the time. Okay, we'll get to both of these. So let me say this before we talk about how Jurassic Park was, and that's what we can talk about. AMC, since coming back from the pandemic, really needs to send someone to North Park to get a clue on what's going on, because, like, you know, those Coke machines now where you fill it up yourself and has a little computer screen, they've got the equation on syrup to soda wrong. We have gone numerous times. It tastes like shit, and you try to tell anybody, they don't list.
Well, they don't
they don't
care.
pay attention
Yeah.
to you. That A-lister program that you and I both are a part of.
Yeah.
It's like they don't give a shit about it anymore, because you stand in the line and you pay.
Oh, they skipped the line, but you still got another line to stand in because it's a line that everybody's paid to be in?
And so I'm there, and it's supposed to be A-listers are called first. Well, they call like 5 people, and the wrong person to do that to is Shelley Hartzell, because I thought she's going to lose her shit. Why do we pay for this shit? No, I was like, stop. But AMC, I know you're doing pretty well since the pandemic has come back. I've read, how well AMC's done. I've looked at your stock numbers. You need to spend a little money cleaning that place up and worrying about how it works, because it's not good. And I do need to write to him about it. Now to the movie.
All right.
The movie, unequivocally, is a piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
Shelley, again, being the apologist of everything, went, it was fun. It was a popcorn movie. And if that's what you want, and you can completely leave every expectation of having a coherent story or one that even matters, then you'll be fine. But if you want something that feels like, hey, these characters are here for a reason, don't go. Because what it wanted to be was to take the original 3 from the original film,
Bring them back,
and combine them with Chris
Pratt.
God, why was his name gone on my mind? Ron Howard's daughter. Bryce
Dallas Howard.
Yeah, and then I didn't care that much about the last one, but apparently I remember they found a little girl in the last one, and now that little girl's
clone girl.
Yeah, and now this little girl is acting like their daughter, and all it was a couple of bullshit reasons to get them all together so that it would be constantly like they were meeting their mirror from the one franchise to the opposite, So there's Chris talking to Sam Neill, and it's like, this is stupid. It's just dumb. And at the end of it, I asked Shelley, I'm like, okay, let's take the little clone girl. Could you ever explain to me why someone needed to kidnap her? Well, they needed her for this and this and this. I said, nope, that was the other people. Now you're taking that story and trying to apply it here to the logic. They tell me why the kidnappers wanted her. Well, they want her for that. I'm like, nope. And it's like, it's awful. It is a terrible movie. And the weird thing is, there aren't even that many dinosaurs in it. There are whole plots where there aren't any dinosaurs anywhere. And now dinosaurs have moved into everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, no one's going to let their kid go on the beach if they know there's fucking dinosaurs out there. Then one of the boats from Deadliest Catch is out into the Bering Sea and a dinosaur comes and gets it. And all I could think was, shit, well, now I don't need to watch Deadliest Catch anymore because that boat's at the bottom of the sea because of a fucking dinosaur. It's terrible.
So what'd you really think?
Terrible. And it's made by that dude that got fired from Star Wars, Colin something. It's so weird. He got fired from making, which one was Rian Johnson's? Was that
The
Last
second
Jedi?
one, The Last Jedi, yeah.
I think that's the one he got fired. Or maybe, no, he got fired from the last one. And that's when J.J. Abrams
Rise of
had to come in because
Skywalker.
he made some book of something and it flopped so bad they fired him. But Kathleen Kennedy's working on Jurassic Park, so she fires him from that movie but keeps him over here.
Don't know what to say.
It's terrible. Richard, it is terrible.
Terrible. It's just terrible.
I like bad movies. I like bad movies when they're fun bad movies. You're like, oh, come the fuck on. But this one I was like, oh, dear God, is this ever going to be over? It's loud. It's obnoxious. The best part was watching the new Brad Pitt movie trailer.
The Bullet Train or whatever it's
Yes,
called?
because
Yeah.
there's a point somebody says, a woman says something kind of sarcastically, and he goes, oh, lady, eat a bag of dicks. And I was like, in a trailer, that is one of the funniest lines I've ever heard.
All right.
It's awesome. I was cracking up hard just in the trailer. I was like, okay, good trailer. And
And then the movie started.
that should probably be even more like a. Why are you having a failure of words?
No, I just the line bag of dicks is kind of overused on some level, and so to actually have it put into a film as an actual line is like kind of
I think that's actually why I liked it so much because I would agree
kind
with
of
you.
cheap and
It feels so. So this is directed by the guy that did Deadpool 2, so already a very
okay.
snappy, sarcastic sense of
all right,
humor.
all right.
It's got a bunch of colorful characters in it, it looks like. Yeah.
It would not be a film that if someone told me what it was about, that I'd go, oh, I got to see it. But now that's literally one where the trailer works for me, and I'll go see it. Looks pretty funny.
All right.
It did its job. It didn't. It
All right, so
doesn't look like
everyone
it
knows what I
spoils.
hate of late. Has anyone watched anything lately?
I'm still trying to get through Stranger Things. We have 3 more episodes in this first half of which I think is like 4 more hours.
I think we have 1.5 to finish this season.
All right.
Before the final 2
All right.
that are not out yet till July, which will be here sooner than we realize.
I know. That's why I'm like, we gotta slog through this. Come on, and
Well,
then we still have another season.
I'll say it didn't bother me. Were they long? Yeah, but it didn't bother
well,
me.
no,
at
that's
all.
not it. It's just finding time to sit down for an
Yeah.
hour and a half to watch it. Yeah.
Before we started the podcast today, we talked about the most recent deaths in the comic book industry. We've lost some legends
Tim
in the thing. We
Sale,
just
yeah.
recently lost Tim Sale and Neil Adams and George Perez. And it's just
Perez.
really kind of sad to think about. We've lost some 3 amazing talents.
Tim
just in
Sale was
short
probably
time.
the one that I was the most like, oh shit.
Did Phil have anything to say about?
We didn't talk about it.
I didn't know. 'cause-
I didn't want to bring it up because
right.
he was definitely followed in Perez's footsteps and
Oh, yeah.
was a huge admirer of his work and
You
style.
can tell it influenced him. Yeah.
for sure. But no, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when your friends are in a particular industry that you do, you don't necessarily want to
You
linger
don't
on
talk
comic
work.
talk. Yeah.
Right.
No talking shop.
I mean, there was some of that, but it's just try to avoid it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Richard, I told Sean something kind of funny when we first got here, and it was that working from home, a lot of what I will do is I'll find series to watch in the background where things that I'm invested in. Stranger Things, I'll put kind of in that category because I watch it with Abby usually. I want to pay attention to it. I'll watch other series that are kind of like, oh, that's in the background.
Right.
Lost in Space is a perfect example. Frivolous kind of just mind-numbing stuff you let play. I couldn't find anything the other day, and I'm looking through, and here was this binge-worthy category on Netflix, and this one thing called Black Summer. And it said a little bit of what it was, and then it said Stephen King raised one of the best binging shows out there. So I watch it, and it's a zombie show, but think 28 Days Later with running zombies, rabid things. And again, I'm fine with that. That's cool. And there was some scary shit. I was like, oh, damn. Well, then I go, and I actually have to go to the bathroom at the end. I pause it, and I notice up top it says Season 2, Episode 1. I'm like, fucking Netflix, why did you play Season 2, Episode 1? Well, that's because I watched all of season 1. I completely forgot the damn show. I went back and I was like, I watched all this. Oh, I kind of remember this. I mean, how bad is that for your show that I don't even remember you?
I know.
But, hey, it's a fun show. And it's got Jamie King in it, who was in Sin City.
Yeah, wasn't she Sif in Thor?
Was she?
Lady Sif?
I don't think so.
Is this a lady who was in that show where she had her whole body tattooed?
Yeah.
Then she was in Thor. She's Lady Sif. Which means she was also in episode of
We have a
Agents of
Thor
S.H.I.E.L.D..
movie coming up,
I know.
and I'm excited about it.
Another
Yeah.
Taika Waititi film at that.
Yes. You just like saying Waititi.
I love Taika.
Did you guys watch Our Flag Means Death?
Yes. I loved it.
Did you watch Our Flag Means Death?
No.
That show is so gay.
Uh-huh.
Like they it's the first
And it's
couple
based
episodes.
on real facts.
I
though.
know, but the first couple episodes.
Is this his like HBO pirate show?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
And
never
it's been
got around
picked
to
up for a
watch it.
second season.
And by the way, Jamie King is a different person you're thinking of.
Who am I thinking of? Jamie King?
Jamie King is she was in Sin City and she
Oh, wait, I think
she
I know.
played Goldie in Sin City.
Oh, Jamie Alexander. Who's
Yeah.
played it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I was just so surprised at how gay the show went.
Oh, yeah.
Show was, we're just going all gay.
They didn't even hide it.
I know. First couple of episodes, I'm watching the actors. I'm like, these actors are kind of playing gay. I don't know what's going on.
And
with
then
this.
they just come out like, yeah,
we're all gay.
We're all having sex. Yeah.
Well, now I got to watch that.
It's a funny show. The first couple of episodes, you can tell the actors haven't quite figured out the characters yet, right? They're a little stiff. But then by about episode 3 or 4, they begin to kind of you begin to kind of appreciate the comedy more because the actors can know the roles.
It's one of those things where it's a period piece, but they don't treat it like a period piece. And people speak very modern, where it's, come on, it's like pirates would be talking to each other. Come on, man, don't do that. Don't be a
Right.
dick. Knock it off. I mean,
So Taika Waititi ends up in an area for me where I know I do this with people that I really like. I'll almost stay away from their stuff because I don't want to be disappointed. And I like him so much that I find it's even the same with what we do in the shadows.
He stars in
He's
this.
in it, yeah,
and
he
I
was-
know that
and-
makes it even more. Makes it even more what you're talking about.
And I'm so afraid. I'm like, oh, if I go over here, it's going to ruin the illusion. But then I saw the Thor trailer yesterday when I went. I was like, oh god, that looks fucking awesome. But I
when they go
love
to
him.
that party on the boat.
Well, don't say anymore because I will go watch it. He's taking on a Star Wars project. Have you read any
Yeah,
about
he's
that?
going to be directing a new Star Wars film that's supposed to be nothing with the Skywalker.
I will watch that.
Yeah.
He has said he's like, I do not want to be I do not want to create a part of the world where anyone even knows what the blueprints of the Millennium Falcon look like. He's like, there are stories to be told in that universe
nothing
and
to do with
that have
Jedis
nothing
and
to do with
Star
it.
Wars.
You can have Jedis mentioned that they're there, but you can tell other stories. And I do think that's kind of where Star Wars has fallen in a bit of a pit, is that they're just cycling right in that same territory without any. You could stay in the Jedi Force thing, but you need to bring in some new information.
And that's one of the things that I think I don't want to be somebody to pile on Boba Fett because I actually enjoyed the show, but it was world building. That same thing that you're talking about, right? It was like, okay, we're going to go back to Tatooine.
Well, that's what the Mandalorian did too. All right, we got a baby Yoda now in it.
Right. Yeah,
can't
we
get
can,
away
we,
from
we can tell
Jedis.
stories in there. You can still pepper the stuff, but I kind of wonder sometimes if shows didn't, Rebels tried to be a little bit of its own thing, but then had to eventually delve heavier more into mythos because it needed to find its audience. I wonder if that happened there.
See, I always thought that a lot of the Filoni moments, the Rebels, Clone Wars, etc., created their own area, but he knew that he needed to build. And I always thought that was actually what was genius about Rebels, was that idea that they made something that was kind of here their niche, and then eventually said, we are also part of this. So I don't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem with Boba Fett, except for I still don't think that speeder bikes are candy apple red.
Have you watched these a couple episodes of Obi-Wan?
Oh yeah, I'm up to date on
So
Obi-Wan.
Leah somehow magically runs away
Runs faster than every adult
other
possible.
adults. Yeah, exactly. So there's maybe we just have to admit that they can't do chase scenes.
Man,
Yeah, that was a very slow chase scene in The Mandalorian on motorcycles.
Yeah.
it wasn't it.
It was a slow chase scene.
And that's Robert Rodriguez directing that.
Enough for a droid to walk out in the middle and go, huh? What? Oh, and get out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, what I liked in Obi-Wan were those kids that rode the motorcycles, them being accentuated with machinery and parts. I think that's an interesting idea to bring into, because you think about Lobot. from Empire Strikes Back, that big little headdress that he wore, big little headdress. But he wears that. What has he done to himself? These modifications. That's an interesting idea to take
Fennec
and
Shan
bring it
having her
in.
modification.
They brought that up.
I'm
in
sorry?
Fennec
Rebels.
Shan having her modification, right?
Yeah.
Her
And they
torso
kind of brought
being
that
all
up in
about-
Rebels a little bit. They had another
True.
guy that had one
We
of
had
those.
Luke had his hand,
By the way,
Fennec
Fennec Shan, that actress, I would leave Shelley for her. She is absolutely stunningly beautiful. And she's in Hacks this season.
Oh,
She
okay.
shows up and I'm like, oh, I love you.
Did you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because she was in that?
No, I did not watch
Did you
any Agents of
ER
S.H.I.E.L.D.
because she was in
No,
that.
no, I don't have to watch everything. I just think
Did you
she's
wa-
beautiful.
Did you watch Mulan because she was in
I
that?
have a thing about Asian women tend to make me go, oh, they're beautiful.
And she has not aged a day since she was in ER. I mean,
Well, she hasn't. She's one of those people that just it's gifted to have beautiful skin, beautiful features,
Ming Na
and
Wen.
she's so damn good too. You watch her in Hacks, and she's kind of evil, and then you watch over with Boba Fett. She has a little bit of a. I mean, she's really good. I really like her a lot.
yes, she's pretty.
That's 15 minutes. We aren't stopping here on a in between.
How old do you think she is?
She's around my age. She's probably late 40s.
Keep going.
She's in her 50s.
Keep going.
55.
58.
Oh, I love her.
Wow.
Even more. I love her even more.
I know.
Wow.
I always wonder if I ever got the chance to work with these people. I mean, how do you watching something like this begs of you to, I don't want to say fall in love with people, but to be attracted to them. They're put in roles where that's part of what you give to watching something. How do you walk up with somebody and then see her and go, God, you're beautiful, by the way. I loved your work in this, and now let's work. That's a weird switch. It's a weird switch. Do you not agree that that films and whatnot are asking you to emotionally become involved with that person they put on screen?
Well, before
I don't mean icky wise. I mean they're asking. If I'm watching Jerry Maguire, it's asking me to fall in love with Renee Zellweger and Tom Cruise. I need to love them.
think of it this way: before film, and I can't remember where I heard this. And I want to say it might have been Penn Jillette's podcast, but unless you saw a play or you were physically there, you had no way to see a conversation that happened that you were not present for.
Right.
So film has a special place because we are creating an impossibility where you are seeing something that you would never ever be able to see if film did not exist. You're seeing conversations that you would never ever be able to see.
Seeing an intimacy between two people.
Yeah,
that
so
you never,
you-
even just in a conversation, not necessarily like romantic intimacy.
Yeah,
just
Right.
intimacy.
just a conversation of
Yeah.
two people talking. If I'm not sitting in the room, I'm never going to see that conversation again. You can tell me about the conversation, but I will never be able to experience that conversation.
And it's no different than the fact that you and I can have a conversation. If he's not here, we can relay it to him,
Yeah,
but he
but-
wasn't a part of it. He may feel as though he has the knowledge of it.
But film puts you in that room, in that relation, and depending on how they shoot it, a close up on somebody makes a different statement than a wide shot of
Absolutely.
two people. Yeah.
There is a complete
So
psychology
yeah,
to
you
the
were
selection of it.
you were being
Manipulated.
manipulated into a relationship with somebody.
Now, obviously, that's kind of what I'm getting at is that can so obviously get out of control. Because were I to meet that woman and get to work with her, I could absolutely say, oh my God, these things I've loved you in, blah, 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 blah. But I also know she's a real person. But that is the weirdness, too, about medium like this. It can be rewatched as well. It isn't just a one-time experience. If I like that conversation, I can watch it again and again and again and again. And it is manipulation. Film, all that stuff. Music's manipulation. Everything about that is manipulating you to feel
Feel a
or
certain
think
way, yeah.
something. There's I was listening to a piece of music on the way over here, and it was by somebody I like, and it's a new song, and the message of it hit me right, and I literally put it on repeat because I was like, I need to hear that. And
I
on
need
the
that
way over here,
dopamine
I
hit
probably
again, yeah.
I probably heard that song 6 times because it just was speaking. So asking people to turn away from that emotion, that is a bit hard.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear about Tom Cruise getting into a fight?
Tom Hanks.
Hanks, thank you.
I saw the
No,
video.
I didn't
want
wa-
to fight. What happened?
Well, no, it was paparazzi and fans crowding around him and his wife, and somebody got too close to his wife, and she started to stumble and stuff, and he just turned around and was like, "That's my fucking wife. Back off."
Yeah, and I don't blame him.
Wow.
That is the point where it's like,
I mean, take pictures. I mean, that's my job as a celebrity. Fine, whatever. But once you start touching me or my loved ones,
Right.
yeah, fuck off.
It is. It's that weird thing. You see somebody. Do you want to? If you idolize them, you want to at least say hello. Thank you so
or
much.
do you leave them alone because
There was one time because I love sports the way I do that there was a Dallas Cowboy sitting there and I wanted to meet him. And he just said to me, "Dude, if you give me a minute to finish my food, I'll talk to you." I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean anything by that." Walk off. But how many people did they get that are like, "Fuck you.
Yeah.
I pay your salary because I go there."
Yeah. You know they do. You know they do.
Have that coolness to step away. And I mean, with all the artists that you know through your work and things like that, I'm sure to an extent they get that too, where it's people just not understanding.
personal
Hey,
space,
I'm a person.
personal time?
You wouldn't do this to any other person in your life where you ran up to them, knocked their wife over so you could get close to them. You wouldn't do it.
So this is totally random, but you were talking about having conversations and the stuff we wouldn't get to be a part of. There was right now we're in the middle of the January 6th commission stuff. And there was a report on the Post just a couple of days ago about the Oval Office confrontation 3 days before the January 6th. Have you read that article in the Post?
I have not. No.
It's a conversation between multiple people from the Justice Department, lawyers, and Trump, and that kind of stuff. Go and read it because I'm telling you, the dialogue in it sounds like it's scripted. Like they're having a confrontation, and it's forceful. And every time I read it, I'm like, did somebody write that for them? They were just talking to each other like that. It's bizarre.
Somebody out there is going to go, well, it was scripted, Richard. Everything is scripted. Like,
Speaking
Yeah.
of, did y'all watch Thursdays
I have to because of work.
with the judge that was the slowest speaker on the face of the earth?
No, I may not have handled that segment.
I mean, ask me a question, and I'll answer as he answered.
Sean, where are you from?
First, I'd like to take a moment to thank the panel for having me at this meeting.
He was nervous.
No, he
He was just slow. No, not a chance.
took
He is just.
he took his time.
Was he drinking in his moment in the spotlight?
I don't know. I just because at one point you could hear the senator's grinds gearing. It's like this guy's taking forever to talk. So he would say, "All right, and this is what you said," and he'd quote what he actually wanted them to finally fucking say. And then one time a guy said, "All right, so in a layman's term, the law means this, this, and this. Isn't that correct?" Well, I wouldn't want that to be my official testimony.
Oh, I just realized who you
On
were
this
talking about
panel.
now.
Yeah, that judge.
I did watch some of those clips.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was taking forever to talk. All
But
right.
I will. I mean, the of course the punditry when I was watching that and they were parsing some of the stuff that he said was saying he was very, very deliberate and
Yes.
determined in what he was saying to make sure that he was using the right words. But I didn't quite grasp it. So you do. I'm like, oh, that's what you're.
Yeah, that guy took forever.
The when you asked, by the way, did you watch any of that stuff? And I replied because my job requires a lot of helping put that information out so people can watch it online. My father can never remember what I do for a living, and that is even before memory issues start on. Well, have you been keeping up with the news? Do you ever watch the news? Do you even look at it? I'm like, Dad, do you realize that I work for a really big corporation and half what I do is help put those feeds on? What is it you do again? And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
All right, Dad.
Yeah. So anytime that kind of comes up, that is literally my natural defense is like, fuck. Yes.
Well, it's Father's Day, so we brought it back to fathers.
There you
Yeah, it
go.
is Father's
Did we start
Day.
with fathers? I don't think we started with fathers.
No, we didn't. We kind of started the week off. It's Father's Day. And those kind of holidays just hit me like, nah. And luckily, my wife and daughter are both like, it's your day. What do you want? I'm like, I want to get in the car. I get to choose all the music, and no one gets to bitch because I'm choosing it today.
Is that? Do you guys have to argue about music or?
Abby and I do.
Okay.
Abby's a big music person like I am too. Like last night we went out to eat and she looked at me and said, Dad, I really want to play this Kanye song for you, but Mom's going to bitch because in it there's a line that says, and I took a pic of my dick and sent it to some girl and I said, play it. I don't give a shit. And if your mom throws a fit, I'll do, psh, hush.
Hush, hush.
But today it will take me looking at Abby and go, Father's Day, I pick all the music, and she'll be like, she won't.
Daddy.
But
Papa.
last night she mentioned something, and I'll play a song, and she'll like what it'll be
Yeah.
fine. But that's usually I don't give a shit about Father's Day. Do not buy me a card. Just take me somewhere for a decent meal and some music to listen to in the car.
I didn't even think about that. If we're not going to want to go, Chris and I are not going to want to go to lunch because it's probably going to be busy.
Oh, true. It's
That's one reason that I'm like, okay, yeah. When we all said,
dinner,
"Can we
yeah.
record today?" I was like, first off, Abby will sleep forever, and I want her to sleep so that we can miss half the crowds.
There you go.
Jesus.
And on
Anyway.
that note,
Is that
do
it?
you need to go see your daughter? See if she's awake yet?
She's not awake. She didn't give a shit
I
about
mean, you've
me.
only been recording for a week. She should be up.
That's
by
right.
now.
Damn, she slept the whole week. Lazy ass shit.
Sure, she doesn't have like meningitis or something.
Well, to all the fathers out there, kudos to you. I hope that you're taking those responsibilities and being good with them. That's all I'm gonna say.
So happy Father's Day, everybody.
No, I'm saying that because there are some fathers out there that didn't ever want to be a father, and those that look, to me, it's the best thing I ever did in my life. I've done so many things, but she's amazing. Being a dad doesn't suck.
All right.
And that's even to your puppies, to your little furry babies. You can be a good dad there too. So
There you
everybody,
go.
have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.